welcome to IrishRacing.com from their edition of Emma's Eyecatchers in association with Boyle Sports, who have now gone non-run or no bet on all championship races at the festival. Just under 4 weeks to go to the big one, and I'm going to change up this week's show slightly. I'm going to run through who I think are JP McManus's top 5 contenders for the Cheltenham Festival. Look, JP is the powerhouse owner in National Hunt Racing. I think he had his 73rd Cheltenham Festival winner last year, but this year's team probably looks more exciting than ever. It was kind of hard to narrow it down to 5. There is a few more you could have put in there as well, but tried to stick to 5, and yeah, I think he's got a fair few who could add to the 73 winner tally this year. So I think to start off, I'll go with Fact Foil, who I think is one of the most exciting chasers in training. I suppose maybe a shock defeat at the start of the year to American Mike, but it was never going to be easy for him, I suppose, going that route, the Florida Pearl route from bumpers to chasing. But, you know, the regard that Willie Mullins held him in at the start of the year, like he mentioned him back in October as the horse he was most looking forward to running, which I suppose speaks for itself in a way. But he's gone from strength to strength since that early season defeat, and I think that performance at the Dublin Racing Festival was just faultless when he demolished Gaelic Warrior in that Grade 1 novice chase. Options are open going to Cheltenham, I suppose. He does stay the 3 miles, but he can drop back to 2.5 as well. He's in both the Turners and the Brown Advisory. As always, Willie will keep it open, but I'd imagine at the moment they might sway towards the Brown Advisory, especially with the news yesterday that Aroko actually might make it back for the Cheltenham Festival, who would be another top contender for the Turners if he was to make it there for JP. So I guess the Brown Advisory at the moment, but I'd be excited to see whichever one he shows up for. I think he's going to take fair beating at the festival. Next on the list, I think you can't do top 5 for JP without having John Munn in there. John Munn was never going to have it easy in life, I suppose, living up to the big brother, big boots to fill there with Duvan. But after costing 570,000 after his point-to-point win, I think it's fair enough to say JP's money was pretty well spent. A 5-time Grade 1 winner. He's a brilliant horse in his day, a little bit quirky. I suppose that Clarence House defeat last time definitely wasn't the ideal prep for a Cheltenham Festival, but you know, if he gets back to his best, you'd imagine he'll put it right up to El Fabiolo anyway. It's 1-1 between them. John Mon got the better over hurdles. El Fabiolo obviously got the better in the Arkle last year. Personally, I think El Fabiolo will confirm the form, but at his best, you'd imagine John Mon will give him a good one for his money at least. Boyle Sports are actually money back as a free bet if your horse finishes second to the favourite as well. And you'd imagine El Fabiolo will go off favourite, so that might be a bad option if you did fancy John Mon to put it right up to him. Hopefully he can bounce back to his best, because he does make up half of that kind of intriguing champion chase picture. Onto the novice hurdlers then. I think Mystical Power has to get into this list, just on pedigree alone. Even for me, I'm really excited to seeing, like, it doesn't feel like that long ago, I suppose, that Annie Power was powering up the Cheltenham Hill. So just the prospect of her son, by the great Galileo, doing the same thing it's really exciting for me anyway, I suppose. I guess when you saw him starting off in that Ballinrobe bumper early in the summer, you weren't really expecting him to get to the Cheltenham Festival level, but in fairness to the horse, he's improved from run to run, a bit like Annie Power in her early days. She did improve rapidly at the start of her career as well. So, you know, it all kind of accumulated to that Moscow Flyer success last time, I suppose, where he was really, really impressive. Like, he actually still looked green that day, but he showed a good turn of foot to gallop away from the field. He has options are open, I suppose. Supreme and Barring Bingham, I couldn't see any reason why he wouldn't stay. Annie Power stayed herself, definitely the 2.5 miles. And I suppose Willie won't give us too many clues on the run-up, but maybe the thing that might sway me to thinking he'll go for the longer trip is Jericho Du Reponet, another top contender for JP, is only entered in the Supreme, so maybe that might be a pointer. And Willie obviously has Ballyburn in the Supreme as well, so it could be a possibility that the Moscow Flyer winner will go for the Barring Bingham hurdle for the second year in a row. Onto Jericho Du Reponet then, who I mentioned slightly. Another exciting novice hurdler for JP, only got the Supreme entry. Look, I suppose he was kind of a talking horse early in the season. There was kind of rumours coming from Seven Barrows that, you know, there was strong vibes about this point-to-point winner. And in fairness to him, he was very, very good in his first 2 starts. Doubts maybe started to creep in a bit from anti-post backers after his last performance. I suppose he had to get down and dig deep, get battling against maybe a horse who you wouldn't expect to get him off the bridle, but kind of just get the feeling that he hasn't really shown his full best on the track as of yet. Look, he got a rating of 132 after that performance, which is, a bit off what you'd expect a Supreme Novice Hurdle winner to be getting. But, I wouldn't be surprised if he improved a lot. And we did kind of see what he can do once he comes off the bridle. He's got a good attitude. Look, Nicky Henderson hasn't entered him for the 2.5 mile race, and who stood out Nicky Henderson, I suppose. He's won the Supreme with some modern greats in recent years, so I would not be writing him out of the Supreme picture whatsoever. Last on my list then, who probably one of my favourite horses in training, probably one of my strongest fancies for the festival at this stage as well, Dino Blue. Look, she's a short price favourite for the Mayor's Chase, but I think she's definitely deservedly so. JP has had a great time in this race in the last few years. I think it's only been 3 runnings and he's won 2 out of 3. Impervious, Ellie May the year before, and hopefully Dino Blue in the 2024 renewal. She's just a mare. She's so likeable. Like since she's changed to fences, she has never been out of the first 2. Jumping brilliant. She actually can make a mistake, but I do think her jumping is probably one of her strongest assets. She's really, really quick over a fence. Maybe the only doubt you might have about her coming up to Cheltenham is the 2.5 mile trip. She has been campaigned over the minimum trip for the majority, 2 mile 1. I don't really see any reason why she wouldn't stay though, and I do think she's a really, really worthy favourite for that Mayor's Chase on the Friday. So look, that's my top 5 Cheltenham contenders for JP McManus. If there's any that are maybe flying under the radar a little bit more, let me know in the comments below. We actually won't be back on Friday with Form Scan, no filming this week, but we'll be back on Monday with our normal Irish Angle show.